is it?
Hi, Gezintahait!
Great!
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
You're looking good.
I just want to make an announcement that this is the Iker Verbringen of Mashiach.
Whoa. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Now we're getting down to it.
And more Mashiach.
The story for tonight is called Colors, Tears, and Eternal Life. And we're featuring tonight the Rebbe's father, Reb Leivik. Yesterday was the 75th anniversary of his passing away. Hashem said to Moshe, I appeared to the patriarchs. No, the patriarchs is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I appeared to them through the name Shekai. But to you, Hashem said to Moshe, I appear through the Shem Havaya, the ineffable name that we don't pronounce. Now once, Rabbi Shimon was sitting together with his son, Rabbi Eliezer, and Rabbi Abba. And Rabbi Eliezer, the son of Rabbi Shimon, asked, why does the Torah say, I appeared to the forefathers with the name Shagai? Didn't Hashem communicate to the forefathers using the name Avaya? Many times Hashem spoke to the forefathers using the name Avaya. So why does Hashem tell Moshe, to you special I'm appearing with the name Avaya? Rabbi Shimon answered him, my son, it's a very deep secret you're asking about. There are colors that are not perceived and colors that are seen. Moshe was the only person able to see the hidden colors. That's what it means. My name Havaya was not known to them. I'm going to make it known to you. Rabbi Shimon explained. By the way, our anchor book here is the essence of Hasidus. And in the essence of Hasidus, it says that one of the new things that Hasidus brought to the world was the ability to explain Kabbalah, and that's what's happening right here. He said there are 4 supernal colors. There's the 3 hidden ones, which are called the shining light, the brilliant light, and the light that shines as the clarity of the heavens. Those 3 lights were revealed to Moses, like through an illuminated glass. When Hashem appeared to him using the Shem Havaya, the name Havaya. An illuminated glass will be like, for example, if you're looking at the sun through binoculars. The actual light of the sun is revealed. The 4th light is a light that is seen through a dark glass, like smoked glasses, like through a filter. The patriarchs, the forefathers, were able to view the 3 hidden colors through the dark glass. And all the other prophets could only see the dark glass itself without perceiving the colors that were hidden in it. So you have 3 levels here. You have the revelation of Moses, who could see the hidden colors. You had the revelation of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, who could see the hidden colors through the dark glass. And then you had all the later prophets who couldn't see the colors at all. They only could see the dark glass itself. When Rabbi Abba heard the explanation, he broke into tears. He said, Vey, oy vey. When Rabbi Shimon passes away, the world will be orphaned. Then, Rabbi Abba related a story about King David, which included a teaching derived from Rabbi Shimon's Torah. David the king greeted Hashem. He said, "Shalom to you, shalom to your house, and shalom to all that is yours." Rabbi Abba concluded, just like Hashem is greeted with shalom, a person greets a Rebbe with shalom. How much more so Rabbi Shimon, who represents shalom above and shalom below, complete peace and perfection. Maybe we'll have time at the end to go more into the story, but the Rebbe's father, Reb Leivik, brings out an interesting point from this story. Reb Leivik was able to tell us which of the godly attributes was symbolized by each of the rabbis in Rabbi Shimon's group. For example, Rabbi Yossi symbolized the level of Malchus. Rabbi Chia symbolized the level of Yesod. Rabbi Yitzhak symbolized the level of Gebur, and Rabbi Yehuda symbolized the level of Chesed. Rabbi Eliezer symbolized the level of Chachma. Rabbi Shimon symbolized the level of Das. And Rabbi Abba, who said this Torah about shalom to you and your house and all that's yours, who cried that Rabbi Shimon would one day leave the world, this Rabbi Abba, was the level of Bina. Bina is the level of understanding. And that's why Rabbi Abba was the one who wrote the Zohar. The Zohar that we have was written down. That's how we have it. And it was written by Rabbi Abba. And how was it that he wrote it? Because he was the level of Bina, the level of understanding. And that's what it says in Pirkei Avos. Im ein Bina ein Das. If it wouldn't be for Rabbi Abba, we wouldn't have the teachings of Rabbi Shimon. And Im ein Das ein Bina. And if it wouldn't be for Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Abba would have nothing to write down. So you see the Chassidus takes actual Kabbalah and brings it down, right down to the revealed Torah. Shalom to you parallels the prophecy of Moshe Rabbeinu. He saw the godly attributes as through an illuminated glass. Shalom to your house indicates the vision granted to the forefathers. They saw the colors through the dark glass. Shalom told that yours indicates all the subsequent prophecies of the prophets. Rabbi Shimon embodies the attribute of Das, like we said, and that Das has two levels. Shalom above refers to the higher Das, which is connection of the world to Hashem, and Shalom below refers to the lower Das, which is how we can finally internalize knowledge of Hashem. This is a long story that goes on with a lot of wisdom, but I think that'll be enough of this story for tonight. We're going to find out more stuff from the Rebbe's father. The Rebbe's father lived an incredible life. And in one of his explanations, he's going to mention how the presence of Hashem comes into the Holy of Holies, into Gan Eden of the world of Bria and midnight. Hi, Marvin.
Pour it on.
Marvin?
Oh, me? I'm doing
You
great.
been mischievous lately? You're doing a lot of mischief?
Oh, for sure. Tell me, how does somebody mischievous as I internalize the knowledge of God? I mean, think about it. I might be mischievous because that's my job. I still want to internalize the knowledge of God.
Through the joke songs, Marvin.
Aha! Well, let's have one of them now. You got one for us?
Yeah.
All right.
So like we said, Hashem's presence comes into Gan Eden at midnight to have delight with the neshamas and to give delight to the neshamas. Let the midnight special,
Let the midnight special
shine a light on me.
shine a light on me.
Let the midnight special
Let the midnight special
shine an ever-loving light on me. When I wake up in the morning,
when I wake up in the morning.
I say, Modeh thank you for the neshama
Thank you for the neshama
that you give to me. Let the midnight special
Let the midnight special
shine a light on me.
shine a light on me.
Let the midnight special
The midnight special
shine an ever-loving light on me.
Shine the heavenly light on me.
Merciful King,
merciful King.
all the work is done.
All the work is done.
Don't you think it's time we could have some fun? Let the midnight special
Let the midnight special
shine a light on me.
shine a light on me.
Let the midnight special
Let the midnight special
shine an ever-loving light on me. Come on, children,
come on, children.
we're gonna have some fun.
We're gonna have some fun.
You ain't seen nothing
Like the Holy One.
Tell me how
How
long
long
do I have to wait? Can I get Mashiach now? Almost have to wait. Ay, 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 mama. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 mama. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine an ever-loving light on me. Let it get Mashiach. I'm telling you true. We can have Mashiach. For me and you. Tell me how long do I have to wait? Can I get Mashiach now? Or must I have to wait? And one of the best parts is we get to confuse Leif.
Well, I'm confused.
Yeah, that's why
See?
we,
I'm already confused. It works.
that's why we don't blow the show for the day before Rosh Hashanah. Get the confused way.
That's right.
That's-
I'm accused.
That's a famous thing that Morty is saying. Right now we're confusing we're confusing the evil accuser because he thinks it's Purim now. The Zohar relates a cryptic and at first glance seemingly pedestrian incident. It says that Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yitzchak were walking on the road and they saw a rabbi and they asked him, "What is your father's name and where does he live?" He answered them, "My father's name is Rabbi Zera." Zera means small. And he lives in Kafar Ramoim a high village, the high village. That's the name of where the place where he lives is called High Village. Far Ramoyim. Now that's the story. A simple story that's kind of boring. What happened here? They saw this guy and he told them his father's name. Now the Rebbe's father is able to plumb the depth of the divine wisdom which is contained in this simple story. And not only is he able to plumb the depth of that divine wisdom, he's able to bring it out so that we can understand it. He tells us that a person's name and the place where he lives indicate his level in divine service. Certainly the name and where the guy lives in the Zohar indicates his level. The name Zerah, Rabbi Zerah, which means small, reflects the humility of one who feels low and insignificant. Similar to our father, Yaakov, who is called small. He's called the small one, right? His brother was the older one and he was the younger one. Besides defining his own level, Rabbi Small's name symbolizes a supernal level of godly emanation and how it relates and connects to the created worlds. Is everybody okay with that? A supernal level of godly emanation that connects to the created worlds. On a supernal level, Zair, Rabbi Small's name was Rabbi Zerah, the level Zair, small, hints to the godly man on the throne, which is seen in prophecy. The prophet sees a man on the throne. And that level represents the lowest level of the worlds of the Ein Sof. But also, it represents a powerful contraction of Hashem into a human configuration. It's called the small faces, Zerah, like Rabbi Zerah, Rabbi Small. Now, even though Hashem has no physical form, nevertheless, when we talk about a right arm, we're talking about his level of kindness. And when we talk about a head, we're talking about the level of godly intellect. So you see this level of small, the level of small faces is how Hashem contracts himself, making himself small, so to speak, to get into the configuration of a human, of a man who's sitting on the throne. Now, together with his humility, his feeling of insignificance, Rabbi Small lived in a high village. And that's similar to our father Yaakov, who served on high. And this high village is not a city, it's a village. Symbolically, it tells us that the place of service of the godly contracted level into the configuration of a man, which is called the small face, like Rabbi Small, was in a world lower than the supernal world of Atzilus. Again, to get some kind of picture of what's going on, these four letters of this name indicate the levels of the world of Atzilus, the levels of the godly world. The Yud is the wisdom, godly wisdom, and the Hey is godly understanding, and the Vav is the godly emotion attributes, and the Hey is the godly thought and speech, all in the world of Atzilus. Now we're saying that the small faces, which is basically the Vav, comes down to serve in a high village, meaning into a level that is lower than this name, lower than the world of Atzilus. And this descent of the godly small face of this eternal man is manifest, like our song said, at midnight. At midnight, the Shekhinah enters Gan Eden to have and share the light with the souls of the righteous. And that Gan Eden that it goes into, that's called the Holy of Holies of the world of Bria. I lost one of my pages. It's called the Holy of Holies of the world of Bria, and it's lower than the world of Atzilus. And that's where the small faces, like Rabbi Zera, the level of small and insignificant, serves in the high place, which is really lower than his actual place. The Rebbe explains how we can use this information in our service of God. When a person is praying, he's standing in a posture of self-abnegation, like a servant in front of his boss, like a subject in front of the king. But at the same time, we're asking for our needs, which shows a feeling of self-importance. So you see, these two opposites are manifest at the same time, and they don't contradict each other. They actually aid each other in our goal of bringing satisfaction to our Creator. On the one hand, we feel very small and insignificant. Why? Because our whole existence is not ours. It's only from the true existence of Hashem. Therefore, we feel insignificant. On the other hand, the King, the Creator, the Divine Master, has commanded us to take a station in the high world, to serve Him in a high place. Therefore, we can feel a level of exaltedness at the same time as we feel ourselves small. They depend, these two opposites depend, and they strengthen each other. I am a creation, we say, whose purpose is to serve the great holy King. And therefore, the greatness isn't mine. I've been designated to occupy this station by the King, the Holy One, blessed be He. And finally, the Rebbe explains why Rabbi's small dwelling was in a village and not in a city. Right? Where he lived was a high village, far remote. You would think, since exaltedness belongs to Hashem, that the exalted service should be in the city. But no, it's in a village. A city is where you would think Hashem's service is, like everybody understands. You can't compare how a simple villager sees the king like a city dweller sees the king. The city dweller is sophisticated. He sees the inner level of the king. A village dweller sees the majesty of the king, all of his servants, how everybody bows down to him. He's very impressed. But a city dweller isn't looking at all these outside things. He's looking at the king himself, and he sees the greatness of the king. So why is it that the greatness is in the village? Now, since exaltedness is seen in the name of a place, remember smallness was in the guy's name, exaltedness, the high village, was in the name of a place, it's obvious it doesn't indicate Hashem as He is in Himself. it refers to the drawing down and revealing of Hashem's exaltedness into the world. And there's something awesome in the fact that this exaltedness of the supernal divine king is revealed even in a village. We have a niggin, a poem niggin, some kind of fun.
We actually know an old classic here.
An old classic.
Considering we skipped before. Oh, the ways of man so far. Not a
Everybody should remember to give $1 or a penny or a quarter to some kind of worthy cause every day. It makes Hashem happy. Now our service of drawing Hashem's presence down to be revealed in this pedestrian hamlet, this physical world, and through that we perfect and complete Hashem's original desire to dwell in the lowest world. Hashem's desire is not for his essence to dwell in the higher spiritual worlds where godly light shines. He wants to dwell in the village. He wants to dwell in this world, which is bereft of all revelation. And precisely due to this absence of revelation and light, the essence and the being of Hashem, which is higher than any revelation, can be revealed. We have the wise puppet tonight.
Yeah, you ready for him already?
Ladies and gentlemen, the 3,000-year-old puppet
Yeah.
being interviewed by Uncle Hershey.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Good.
okay.
Issues.
back again in the Jewish Experience portion of the program with the 3,000-year-old puppet. Puppet? Puppet. It's like a boogie with this boogie boogie.
Puppet.
All right. And he's been there everywhere.
He was there.
He was there. So,
Been there, get done there.
since he's been there,
Done that.
see, it's one thing to just talk to people who know about stuff, but it's another thing to talk to people who actually see it happen in front of your eyes, in front of his eyes. So in any case, that's where we get our basic information from. So, the Parsha is Greek.
Eikev. Parshas Eikev. Rashi, enough with the small talk. We have a Parsha to make a mess out of.
Whoa! Okay, so we're going to start with Eikev, which actually talks about what Moshe is doing now to. Remember, this is Devarim. So in this whole section of the Torah, this is where Moshe is taking over and telling and reiterating to the Jews all the stuff that's going on and preparing them for entering Eretz HaKodesh, the Holy Land. So what does Moshe advise the Jewish people to consider when they become alarmed by the nations around them?
Well, I was there. I remember that, Rashi.
Right, I know.
I remember Moshe saying that because those nations, boy, Rashi, they were scary.
That's right.
I mean, there was, these giants like, hey, Boychik, how you doing,
Hey,
Boychik?
how you doing?
How are you, Boychik? Anyways, listen carefully, Boychik, because I was there. I'm going to tell you how it happened. These nations, they were scary. You had Oig Melech HaBashan, right? Oig, the king of Bashan.
Right.
Moshe Rabbeinu, depending on he was, you know how tall he was? I remember, I was there.
Big
He was 15 feet tall according to one opinion and 20 feet tall according to another opinion. I remember, I was there.
So in other words, he's about 17.
Hey, I'm sorry, that's how tall
Hold
he
on a
was.
second. It's probably really about 17 and a half. We'll take an average.
Well, let's take 17 and a half. Right, let's take an average. Let's see, that's how you can tell Moshe's a financial guy. You take the average, you run with it. Yeah. Anyways, he had to jump and his stick.
Mathematics are up.
Yeah.
He jumped.
So he had to jump and his stick was the same tall like him and he jumped as many feet as himself. So 3 times 17 and a half is a bunch of feet, and he got hacked in the ankle. So imagine how big this is. So they were scary people. Yeah, very scary, Boychik. Listen to Hoshi. If you listen to Hoshi, you'll be okay. He's a smart guy.
He's a cute guy. How you doing?
But so anyways, so he said, so remember all the miracles that Hashem did for you. Remember how he took you from Egypt, how he did the Kriyas Yamsuf, all these things, and if you remember these miracles, it will help you remember that Hashem can defeat all these scary people.
Right.
I told you, I was there. I saw him. It depends which opinion.
That's right. There's a lot of opinions, but he actually saw it. So there we go. Okay. So according to Moshe, this week's Parsha, why did God have the Jewish people roam the desert for 40 years? It wasn't that far away.
Oh, it wasn't just roaming the desert. They're not bad enough they roamed the desert, right? He wanted them to remember roaming the desert.
Right.
Because they should remember the times that the Eibishter tested them. He was testing them as a people, how they're going to stand to if they're going to remain hidden in
That's
this
right.
stuff. In this
You got to
desert.
get them out of their servant mentality also. From
Yeah.
the Mitzrayim and to be the servant of Hashem.
Right, and then once they the servants of Hashem, now you can go into Eretz Yisrael
Right.
with some hope. So remember this, and it was interesting also in this parsha. It talks about that you should not take credit for when you're successful. You
Right.
shouldn't take your credit. Oh, I'm successful. I'm a big macher.
Right.
I'm a big macher.
You should
Well,
you should thank the
it's a
Eibishter for
basic
this.
lesson. You should never take credit. Just take cash.
Yeah, exactly. You see, Hoshi listens to the parsha. He doesn't take credit. I guess the cash part must have been in the Rashi. I missed
Yeah,
it.
it was
Hoshi.
there.
Yeah, it was somewhere there, huh?
You knew where it was because
Yeah.
you were there.
But anyways, something interesting, because we get actually some of the Birkas Hamazon, right? We make the blessings after the meals. Some of this, it comes from here. Exactly, oh, smart word.
That's right.
The Chavos were- So here's a funny question. When Moshe made this bracha, they was making it on mun, which was not bread.
Right.
So how can we use the same voids for bread? And what is a good answer is we have to remember that our bread, we think we make it, we don't make it also. Really, it's also like mun. It's also coming from the Eibishter,
Of
coming
course
from
it's
God.
yeah. Plus-
And that's why we use these voids.
Plus, the mud is bread, if you want it to be bread. So, I mean...
Well, it tastes like it, but you couldn't make
That's right.
it wasn't a real hamaitzi.
Right.
It's very high in fiber,
You know.
too.
It's very, very high.
That's why it was
Oh yeah, it was high in fiber. Trust me,
That's why it was called money.
Right, don't take credit, only take money. Money.
Monye.
So yeah, anyways, also the Moshe reminded them about, he always had to remind us about this golden calf.
So you were there.
Now, well, you remember, I didn't really have so much to be embarrassed, as like you remember, Aishi, I'm a Levi. And me and Levine, we didn't have the golden calf.
People talk about it.
No, we had golden coins.
Right.
That's what we did, no golden calf, just golden coins.
Okay, so this week's Parsha, Moshe tells the Jewish people why God fed us the manna. So what was the reason?
What was the reason?
I'll tell you the reason.
Tell me.
Things I do for you. But anyway, the whole point of this is that bread alone is not what gives us life. It's the
Oh, I know, because I once had bread alone, and Gewalt, trust me, it was not so much fiber like the manna label over
Right,
there.
you need something to drink.
Fragi, was esst du dort denn? Something good? I'll come join you after the show with a cracker apple.
Right. So what is it? What are the 7 fruits of Israel?
Oh, well, it was chita, usaira was wheat, and barley, and grapes,
Figs.
right? And figs, and pomegranates, and dates, and olives, and sushi. That was the 8th wonder of the.
That was good stuff. That
Nobody
was
will
good
talk.
stuff.
That was only the
People
medrash.
that couldn't get any dates.
There goes Lab. Get your mind out of the cracker box.
So anyway, Moshe prayed for the Jews' forgiveness. What did he beseech Hashem to remember?
Oh, well, he asked them to remember Avram, Yitzchak, and Eikev.
Right.
That was so devoted to him, so he should remember their devotion.
We got to figure out who Tehusahak is.
Who's the what is?
Avram, Tehusahak, Jacob.
Yeah, Tzutzasak. This was like by the Native Americans. They call
Yeah.
Yitzchak this.
That's the first thing they had to know when you got in
Yep.
there. So.
But anyways, other than that, it talks about the breaking of the luchos, and it's interesting because by the first tablets, right, the first tablets,
Right.
it talks about that. It says that Moshe grabbed hold of them and threw them down. Now you know the Torah never says anything extra. Why do you have to say?
Right.
Of course, he threw them down. Of course, he grabbed hold of them.
Right.
But it was showing that Moshe grabbed hold of them and he picked them up a little bit, like to make a, how do you say a kinyan? He's up not kinyan, lab. How do you say a kinyan? Like to acquire something.
Requirement.
A possession.
Yeah, to mark possession from this.
Right.
So he's gemacht possession, so it was only his, and when he broke them, so he's a cute puppy, this one, my little angel,
Yeah.
huh? Oh, you're like, Boobale, how you doing, Boobale? Anyways, Helskin, what happened was is that he took possession of it. So when he threw it down, that nobody could be blamed besides
Right.
himself.
Right.
This was a real leader. He took the whole responsibility on himself. What else it talks about? Oh, Moshe then encourages the people, when you go into the land of Eretz Yisrael, you should serve the Eibishter, do the mitzvahs, remember who's your father, remember who's your king, remember the Rabbeinu Shalom, the master of the world, Hersleb, the whole world.
Right.
The
But
universe.
unfortunately, they remembered a little bit, but
Oh, a
then they
little bit.
started going away.
And
So
he
that was
reminded
fun.
them again, after this, again he reminds them of the miracles,
Right.
so they should remember to slave Hashem.
Right.
And talks about, of course, how beautiful the land of Eretz Yisrael is. And actually, interesting is in the last part of is the second parsha from Shema. After Shema, and after we say V'hoyim Shemaya, that's in this finishes off this parsha. Also telling them when you go to Eretz Yisrael, which we of course will all soon go. We're going very soon with Mashiach. That we're going to serve Hashem,
Right.
and Hashem will bless us because we serve Him. He'll bless us with everything we need.
Amen.
What do we do now?
Okay, we turn it back to
Oh,
Salem.
back to you, Mitzalel. Shkoyach Hoshli. I love you, babies. Like you, babies.
You know,
See
you've
you
been
next
around a
week.
long time, but you got to keep hanging in there.
Oh, you gotta keep it in
Wait,
there.
I want to
Yeah.
see you next week.
Yeah, I smoked 10 cigars every day. That's what those
That's
are for
what
me.
that'll do it. That'll do it. All right, see you. All right.
Lapel. Lapel.
Anyway,
Me?
Oh, the
Lavalier.
it's a good thing we have a long wire.
good thing somebody's remembering some. Tell me. There you go.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you
Lucky
very much.
thing we have a long das over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
That was very nice. Your grandson came tonight.
Oh, it was wonderful, huh?
Grandson.
She's still in there.
All right. You want to do one of the Pesukim for us? The puppet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You-
Ready?
Tyra!
Siva.
Siva!
Oh yeah, Lanu.
Lano!
Maisha.
Masha!
Marasha.
Marasha!
Kehilas.
Kehilas!
Jacob.
Jacob!
Jacob! Oh, good
Yeah.
job, Bobby, good job.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Very nice. So it's a real thing
Beautiful.
that we are able, through our service to Hashem, through realizing our insignificance, and through serving Him in the high village, the place where He stationed us, that we're able to draw down a revelation of His essence down to this physical world, and to paraphrase a Gemara that the Rebbe cites at the end of the Sikha in the Eschana 5751. He will have us dance in a circle while sitting with us, and we'll point with a finger and we'll say, look, look, here is Hashem. We're going to have Hashem with us, and He's going to live with us together forever. And that's the real thing of Mashiach. We want Mashiach now. Do we have a negative?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got one. Here we go. Where'd more to go?
Abstain.
Mordechai.
You had to go. He'll be back next week.
Oh, you have to leave.
Oh,
What are you looking at? You were looking for Mordechai?
I did it
Oh,
again.
Mordechai had to go home.
I'm here to touch my guitar. All right, you ready? All right, that's it. They surprise you. We're gonna do this on the E.
Okay.
E minor. Right? Even though I write E, so what is E? E, yeah, E major. All right, ready?